Back to the daily readings of Srila Prabhupada's books. I apologize tonight because I'm a little late. I had some long conversations on the telephone today, on the internet, and so I'm a little late. Everything's a little behind. Please don't mind. We'll get right into it. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur offered this poetic glorification of Sri Caitanya-caritämrta. He said, in due course, Mahäprabhu, devastating floods, will inundate the entire universe. If you attempt to survive by swimming in that deluge, then do not neglect to take hold of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Sri Caitanya-caritämrta. Or, if you cannot hold all three, then release Bhagavad Gita. If necessary, you may also relinquish Srimad Bhagavatam, but under no circumstances release your hold on Sri Caitanya-caritämrta. For if this one book remains, then the flood can do no actual damage, because after it has subsided, the message of Shastra can be revived from Sri Caitanya-caritämrta alone, it being the essence of all Shastra. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. I have to make a small adjustment. Don't mind, please. Yes, this is correct. Okay. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahäprabhu is continuing to instruct Rüpa Gosvämi in the nuances of Krishna consciousness. And now he's talked about the holy name, how to receive the holy name, how to take care of the creeper of devotion that awakens once one takes initiation and chants the holy name under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. And now he's getting into the pastimes of Krishna. As a matter of fact, he's pretty far into the pastimes of Krishna already. We're beginning with text 207 through 209. My dearmost Krishna, you are worshipping me and giving up the company of all the other gopis who wanted to enjoy themselves with you. Thinking like this, Srimati Radharani considered herself Krishna's most beloved gopi. She had become proud and had left the Rasa-lila with Krishna. In the deep forest, she said, my dear Krishna, I cannot walk anymore. You can take me wherever you like. When Srimati Radharani petitioned Krishna in this way, Krishna said, just get up on my shoulders. As soon as Srimati Radharani began to do so, he disappeared. Srimati Radharani then began to grieve over her request and Krishna's disappearance. Purport. These three verses are quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:30, 36 to 38. Text 210. Dear Krishna, we gopis have neglected the order of our husbands, sons, family, brothers, and friends, and have left their company to come to you. You know everything about our desires. We have come only because we are attracted by the supreme music of your flute. But you are a great cheater, for who else would give up the company of young girls like us in the dead of night? Purport. This verse quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:31-16 describes how the gopis went to the forest for Krishna's enjoyment in the dead of night. The gopis approached Krishna to enjoy themselves with him in the rasa dance. Krishna knew this very well, but he was superficially trying to avoid them. He is therefore addressed by the gopis as Kitava, a great cheater, because he first attracted them to come dance with him, and yet when they actually came, neglecting the orders of their friends and relatives, he tried to avoid them by giving them so-called good instructions. These cunning instructions were too much for the gopis to tolerate. They therefore had a right to address Krishna as Kitava, a great cheater. They were all young girls, and they had come to him to be enjoyed. How could he avoid them? The gopis therefore expressed great disappointment in this verse. They came voluntarily, but Krishna was so cunning that he wanted to avoid their company. The gopis' lamentation was certainly very appropriate, and in this way, Krishna tested their sincerity. Text 211. When one is fully attached to Krishna's lotus feet, one attains the shamatha stage. The word shamatha is derived from the word shama. Therefore, shantarasa, the position of neutrality, means being fully attached to the lotus feet of Krishna. This is the verdict from the mouth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. This state is called self-realization. Purport. The corresponding verse from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 3.147 follows. 2.12. These are the words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When one's intelligence is fully attached to my lotus feet, but one does not render practical service, one has attained the stage called Shantarati, or Shama. Without Shantarati, attachment to Krishna is very difficult to achieve. Text 213. The word Shama, or Shantarasa, indicates that one is attached to the lotus feet of Krishna. Dhamma means controlling the senses and not being deviated from the Lord's service. Endurance of unhappiness is called titiksha. And driti means controlling the tongue and the genitals. Purport. This verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam 11:19-36. The conditioned soul, under the clutches of Maya, the material energy, is very much agitated by the urges of the tongue and the genitals. Control of the urges of the tongue, the belly, and the genitals, which are situated in a straight line, is called driti. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Taramadye jiva ati lobamaya sudurmati. Among the senses, the tongue is the most formidable enemy of the conditioned soul. Urged by the tongue, one commits many sinful activities. Although Krishna has given human beings nice food, people still commit sins by killing poor animals for the satisfaction of the tongue. Not being able to control the tongue, the conditioned soul eats more than he needs. Of course, everyone must eat to keep the body fit for the Lord's service. But when one cannot control the senses, he falls victim to the dictations of the tongue and the belly. Naturally, genital agitation follows, and one seeks illicit sex. However, if one is fixed at the lotus feet of Krishna, he can control the tongue. Bhaktivinoda Thakur further states, Krishna bada doya moya, kari bada jiva joya, swaprasad, anna delobai. In order to conquer the tongue, Krishna has been very merciful and has given us nice food that has been offered to him. When a person is attached to Krishna's lotus feet, he does not eat anything not offered to Krishna. Say Anamrita Kao, Radha Krishna Gunagao, Premidako, Sri Chaitanya Nitai. Since a devotee eats only prasadam, he conquers the dictations of the tongue, belly, and genitals. One can control the dictates of the senses when situated in the position of Shanta Rasa. One's advancement in Krishna consciousness is assured. To 214. Giving up all desires not connected with Krishna is the business of one who is in Shanta Rasa. Only a devotee of Krishna can be situated on that platform. He is thus called a Shanta Rasa Bhakta. Purport. In this position, one is freed from all material enjoyment. When one is not agitated or disturbed, he can immediately realize his relationship with Krishna. A Shanta Rasa devotee is therefore always fixed in realization. This instruction was given by the Lord himself to Uddhava. The beginning of pure devotional service is called Anya Bilashita Shunya. When one is situated on the platform of neutrality, he is freed from the material platform and fully situated in spiritual life. The word Dhamma, used in verse 213, means Indriya Samyama, curbing one's senses. The word Dhamma can also mean curbing one's enemies. A king has to take steps to curb the criminal activities of his citizens. Great Rajarshis, devotee kings, used to control undesirable elements in their states, and this also may be called Dhamma. However, Dhamma here refers to the conditioned soul who must control his senses. Real Dhamma means controlling the undesirable activities of the senses. 215. When a devotee is situated on the platform of Shantaras, he desires neither elevation to the heavenly planets nor liberation. These are the results of karma and jnana, and the devotee considers them no better than hell. A person situated on the Shanta Rasa platform manifests the two transcendental qualities of detachment from all material desires and full attachment to Krishna. Text 216. Narayana padak sarve na kutaschana bibhyati sarva pavarga narakeshu apitulyartha darshinaha. A person who is devoted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, is not afraid of anything. Elevation to the heavenly kingdom, condemnation to hell, and liberation from material bondage all appear the same to a devotee. Purport. This verse is quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam 6:17-28. Elevation to the heavenly planets, liberation from material bondage, and condemnation to hell are all equal to the devotee. The devotee's only desire is to be attached to the lotus feet of Krishna and to engage in his transcendental loving service. Text 217. These two qualities of the Shanta stage spread through the lives of all devotees. They are like the quality of sound in the sky. Sound vibration is found in all material elements. Purport. The two qualities of Shantarasa mentioned in verse 215 are present in all kinds of devotees, whether they are in Dasyaras, Sakyaras, Vatsalyaras, or Madhuraras. The example of sound is given herein. Sound not only exists in the sky or ether, but it is also present in air, fire, water, and earth. This is a scientific explanation of devotional service. Just as sound is present in all material elements, the qualities found in Shantarasa are present in all devotees, whether they are on the platform of Dasyarasa, Sakyarasa, Vatsalyarasa, or Madhurarasa. Text 218. It is the nature of Shantarasa that not even the smallest intimacy exists. Rather, knowledge of the impersonal Brahman and localized Paramatma is prominent. Purport. Excuse me. Because of an impersonal impression of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, a devotee in the Shantarasa relationship worships the impersonal Brahman or localized aspect of the Absolute Truth, Paramatma. He does not develop a personal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Text 219. On the platform of Shantarasa, one realizes only his constitutional position. But when one is raised to the platform of Dasyarasa, he better understands the full opulence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. 222. On the Dasyarasa platform, knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is revealed with awe and veneration. By rendering service unto Lord Krishna, the devotee in Dasyarasa gives constant happiness to the Lord. Text 21. The qualities of Shantarasa are also present in Dasyarasa, but service is added. Thus the Dasyarasa platform contains the qualities of both Shantarasa and Dasyarasa. 222. The qualities of Shantarasa and the service of Dasyarasa are both present on the platform of Sakyarasa. On the platform of fraternity, the qualities of Dasyarasa are mixed with the confidence of fraternity, instead of awe and veneration. 223. On the Sakyarasa platform, the devotee sometimes offers the Lord service and sometimes makes Krishna serve him in exchange. In their mock fighting, the cowherd boys would sometimes climb on Krishna's shoulders, and sometimes they would make Krishna climb on their shoulders. 224. Awe and veneration are absent on the platform of fraternity, since this rasa is predominated by confidential service. Therefore, Sakya rasa is characterized by the qualities of three rasas. Text 225. On the platform of Sakya rasa, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is controlled by the devotees who are intimate with him and think themselves equal to him. 226. On the platform of parental love, the qualities of Shantarasa, Dasyarasa, and Sakyarasa are transformed into a form of service called maintenance. 227. The essence of fraternal love is intimacy, devoid of formality and veneration found in Dasya Rasa. Due to a greater sense of intimacy, the devotee functioning in parental love Wait, I gotta read this again, make sure this is right. The essence of fraternal love is intimacy devoid of the formality and veneration found in Dasya Rasa. Due to a greater sense of intimacy, the devotee functioning in parental love chastises and rebukes the Lord in an ordinary way. 228. On the platform of parental love, the devotee considers himself the Lord's maintainer. Thus the Lord is the object of maintenance, like a son, and therefore this mellow is full of the qualities of four rasas: Shanta Rasa, Dasya Rasa, fraternity, and parental love. This is more transcendental nectar. Purport. In his Amrita Pravaha Bhashya, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives us a short summary of this complicated description of the different rasas. He states that by becoming firmly fixed in the Lord's service, one is devoid of all material desires. These are the two transcendental qualities on the Shanta Rasa platform. Just as sound vibration is found in all the material elements, these two qualities of Shanta Rasa are spread throughout all the other transcendental mellows, which are known as Dasya Rasa, Sakya Rasa, Vatsalya Rasa, and Madhura Rasa. Although in Shanta Rasa there is attachment for Krishna in awe and veneration, since the two valuable transcendental qualities of this rasa are attachment for Krishna and detachment from material desires, nonetheless, the sense of intimacy is lacking. The reason for this is that in Shanta Rasa, attachment for impersonal Brahman and localized Paramatma are prominent. In other words, the sense of intimacy by which one thinks of Krishna as one's only shelter and friend is absent in Shanta Rasa, because one accepts Krishna as the impersonal Parabrahman or localized Paramatma. This understanding is based on the speculative knowledge of the jnani. However, when this knowledge is further developed, one is convinced that the Paramatma, the Supreme Lord, is the Master, and that the living entity is his eternal servant. One then attains the platform of Dasya Rasa. In Dasya Rasa, the Lord is accepted with awe and veneration. Thus the active service that is absent in Shanta Rasa becomes prominent in Dasya Rasa. In other words, in Dasya Rasa, the qualities of Shanta Rasa are present, and service also becomes predominantly visible. Similarly, when this same rasa is developed into fraternity, Sakya Rasa, a friendly intimacy is added. There is no awe or veneration in Sakya Rasa. Therefore, Sakya Rasa is invested with the qualities of three rasas: Shanta, Dasya, and Sakya. Similarly, on the platform of parental love, the qualities of Shanta Rasa, Dasya Rasa, and Sakya Rasa are fully developed in another form, the sense of maintaining the Lord. Therefore, on the platform of parental love, there exists a combination of the qualities of four transcendental mellows: Shanta Ras, Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, and parenthood. The mellow of parenthood puts the devotee into a position of a maintainer. Indeed, without formality, the devotee takes the position of maintainer and regards the Lord as the object of maintenance. Thus, on the platform of parental love, the qualities of four transcendental mellows of love of Krishna are present. 229. The exchange of spiritual happiness between Krishna and his devotee, in which Krishna is controlled by his devotee, is compared to an ocean of nectar into which the devotee and Krishna plunge. This is the verdict of learned scholars who appreciate Krishna's opulence. 230. Again, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. O my Lord, I offer my obeisances hundreds and thousands of times with all affection. Because of your personal pastimes, you plunge the gopis into an ocean of nectar. Appreciating your opulence, devotees generally declare that you are always subjugated by their feelings. Purport. This verse is from Damodarastaka in the Padma Purana. 231. On the platform of conjugal love, attachment for Krishna, rendering service unto him, the relaxed feelings of fraternity and the feelings of maintenance all increase in intimacy. 232. On the platform of conjugal love, the devotee offers his body in the service of the Lord. Thus, on this platform of the transcendental qualities of all five rasas are present. Purport. Attachment for Krishna in Shanta rasa, rendering service to the Lord in Dasya rasa, rendering relaxed service in fraternity, and serving in parental love with feelings of maintenance, all combine on the platform of conjugal love, when the devotee wants to serve the Lord by offering him his personal body. Thus the qualities of the other rasas combine to form the nectar of conjugal love. On this platform, all the different feelings of a devotee are amalgamated. Text 233. All the material qualities evolve one after another in the material elements, beginning with ether. By gradual evolution, first one quality develops, then two qualities develop, then three and four, until all five qualities are found in earth. 234. Similarly, on the platform of conjugal love, all the feelings of the devotees are amalgamated. The intensified taste is certainly wonderful. 235. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then concluded, I have simply given a general survey describing the mellows of devotional service. You can consider how to adjust and expand this. 236. So this is an instance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu empowering Rüpa Gosvämi to write his books. He gave the basic thread, the basic foundation, and then he told him, now you can elaborate. That's empowerment. 236. When one thinks of Krishna constantly, love for him manifests within the heart. Even though one may be ignorant, one can reach the far shore of the ocean of transcendental love by Lord Krishna's mercy. This is actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, Radharani's mercy. Text 237. After saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Srila Rüpa Gosvämi. The Lord then decided to go to the city of Benares. 238. The next morning, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arose and prepared to leave for Varanasi, Benares, Srila Rüpa Gosvämi submitted the following statement at the Lord's lotus feet. 239. If you give me permission, I shall go with your Lordship. It is not possible for me to tolerate the waves of separation. 240. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, your duty is to carry out my order. You have come near Vrindavan. Now you should go there. 241. Later, you can go from Vrindavan to Jagannath Puri through Bengal, go to Desh. There, you will meet me again. 242. After embracing Rüpa Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got into a boat. Rüpa Goswami fainted and fell down on the spot. 243. The Brahmana from Deccan took Rüpa Goswami to his home, and thereafter the two brothers departed for Vrindavan. 244. After walking and walking, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu finally arrived at Varanasi, where he met Chandrasekhar, who was coming out of the city. 245. In a dream, Chandrasekhar had seen that Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had come to his home. Therefore, in the morning, Chandrasekhar went outside the city to receive the Lord. 246. While Chandrasekhar was waiting outside the city, he suddenly saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrive, and he fell down at the Lord's feet. Being very happy, he took the Lord to his home. 247. Tapan Mishra also heard news of the Lord's arrival at Varanasi, and he went to Chandrasekhar's house to meet him. After talking, he invited the Lord to take lunch at his place. 248. Tapan Mishra took Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his house and gave him lunch. Chandrasekhar invited Balabhadra Bhattacharya to take lunch at his home. 249. And after offering lunch to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Tapan Mishra begged a favor from the Lord and requested him to award him mercy. 250. Tapan Mishra said, "As long as your lordship stays in Varanasi, please do not accept an invitation from anyone but me." It was known to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he would remain there only 5 or 7 days. He would not accept any invitation that involved Mayavadi sannyasis. Text 252. With this understanding, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu agreed to accept lunch at the place of Tapan Mishra. The Lord made his residence at the home of Chandrasekhar. 253. The Maharashtrian Brahmana came, and the Lord met him. Out of affection, the Lord bestowed his mercy upon him. Hearing that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had come, all the respectable members of the Brahmana and Kshatriya communities came to see him. 255. Much mercy was thus bestowed upon Sri Rüpa Goswami, and I have briefly described all those topics. Whoever hears this narration with faith and love certainly develops love of God at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Rupa Raghunatha Padayaraj Caitanya-caritämrta Gahi Krishna Das. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishna Das, narrate Sri Caitanya-caritämrta, following in their footsteps. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Caitanya-caritämrta, Madhya-lila, 19th chapter, describing the Lord's instructions to Srila Rüpa Goswami at Prayag in the science of devotional service. Srila Rüpa Goswami Prabhu ki jai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. The instructions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Rüpa Goswami ki jai. Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. So that was transcendental, pure, unadulterated nectar. Now we're going to hear about Lord Chaitanya Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings to Sanatan Goswami. It's very interesting because he actually instructed him for 2 months straight. We just heard that he's only going to stay in Varanasi for 2 to 5 days. The Lord is independent. He can change his mind whenever he wants. Okay, I'm going to stop the reading there tonight. I've had a huge day of talking, 4 or 5 hours, maybe 6 hours worth of talking today. So, yes, are there any reflections, comments, discussions? Please be our guests.
First is a comment from Krishna Premavati Devi Dasi.
Krishna Premavati, she's like the first off the block of the blocks when you're racing blocks. She's first off the blocks every day.
She says, Jai, all glories to the daily Caitanya-caritämrta readings by His Holiness Keshava Bharti Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
From Brian.
If it pleases you, I am pleased. Bhakta Brian, Haribo.
He says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. A blessed Diwali to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Well, thank you very much. This is the day when Lord Ramachandra came back to Ayodhya, and all the devotees lit up the whole place to celebrate his victory. In India, it's huge celebrations. Everybody lights up their houses to the max, gives gifts, and it's a whole thing. Now it's very difficult now with this COVID. For the Indians to stop celebrating Diwali is very, very difficult. I don't know what's going to happen. Let's see what the Lord has in store for the earth. One thing's for sure, we're safe as a pea in a pod. Hearing Caitanya-caritämrta through the internet like this together. It's Krishna's arrangement. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Premavati also wrote, Dandavat Pranams Maharaj. Hare Krishna to all the assembled devotees. Vanchakalpa.
Jai, Haribo, Haribo. Prabhupada called our movement a mutual admiration society. That's what it's supposed to be. And we're seeing it in action during these daily readings with all these lovely devotees. Hare Krishna.
Rati Manjari says, Jai Guru Maharaj, you are a sight for sore eyes and ears. Happy Diwali to you and the gentleman over there.
Thank you so much.
From Brajaloka, she says, Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Brajaloka Devi Dasi.
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Haribo.
All glories to you. All glories to our daily readings.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Sudevi Dasi writes, please accept my humble obeisances. Glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Sudevi Dasi.
From Gopakanya.
Hare Krishna Gopakanya.
She says, Hare Krishna dear Maharaj, Happy Diwali. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Prabhupada.
Stefano writes, Hare Krishna.
Who?
Stefano.
Hey Stefano.
From Dubai, Attila?
It's from Attila. Yeah, I got a message from him today. Thank you for your email. I'll answer your email soon, Attila G.
He says, Hare Krishna, thank you for today's association with us. My problems with control is to control my sexuality. What is the best practice to even avoid the thinking of those things? In my opinion, this is also a problem for other devotees. So if we practice more and more, will Krishna give liberation from it?
Well, the more attached we become to Krishna, with Krishna, as we just read in the analysis of the levels of advancement in devotional service, the more attached we become to Krishna, the less attached we become to the material energy. It's like a teeter-totter. You know, if a person is heavier, you know, he goes down and the other person goes up, like that. So, yes, the only thing that's powerful enough to replace that sexual urge, that sexual desire, is attachment to Krishna and attachment to devotional service. So the hearing and chanting of the holy name, of the glories of Krishna, through these wonderful literatures, the pastimes of Krishna and Krishna's incarnations, and the philosophy of Krishna, which explains how things are working, how the material universe is created. So when you perform devotional service, actually perform devotional service, not just superficially or as a show, but actually from the core of the heart, then automatically knowledge and renunciation or detachment come into the heart. Because the soul is not the body. The mind is not the soul. So if the mind is engaged in Krishna's service, actually engaged, not just mechanically doing something because it needs to be done, but doing it with the heart, then automatically one feels detached, automatically, without separate endeavor. So you should cultivate the knowledge of Krishna consciousness sincerely, just like you're studying your law, and in order to be a lawyer, you have to study very diligently and very seriously. You have to know your stuff to be a lawyer in this world, especially in Kali Yuga, when everybody's fighting with each other like anything. Now whole populations are fighting with each other, political parties, and so much nonsense. And the lawyers are raking it in, you know. But they have to be expert to be able to be successful. So Krishna consciousness is the same, except the subject matter is changed. The subject matter is different. The more eager you come, the more eagerness you cultivate by being in the association of those who are eager. By association, you will become eager to know about Krishna deeper, to understand the philosophy of Krishna consciousness deeper, to understand the constituency of the material world, how it's working, what the laws of nature are. And the more you absorb your thoughts in that, the more detached you will become. There's no force in this world strong enough to purify that sexual urge, which is nothing more than an itch, actually, is the process of Krishna consciousness, especially hearing and chanting with love and faith. As long as there are doubts and there is not love and faith, then you will not get the same result. So it's like this. The material world is a place of suffering. Dukhalayam ashasvatam. It's certified by Krishna himself, and he created it. Maya-dyakshana prakriti suyatesha characharam. He is in control of the material nature, and the nature is in control of us. So only he has the power to remove us from the material nature. Therefore, just like a child, living in a place, a neighborhood, and there's a bully, and every time he goes out, the bully comes and harasses him and beats him up and causes him suffering. But when he comes out of his house with his father, and a little boy, 5, 6 years old, and he's holding the hand of his father, and he sees the bully, and he goes, come on, He's fearless because he knows the father is there. The father won't let the bully harass him. So if we actually put ourselves in Krishna's hands, really, not just intellectually or sentimentally, but really, then we become fearless, and gradually the material attachment, especially sexual urge is the strongest urge, it will become minimized and finally dissolved. And it begins with the tongue. If you vibrate the holy name of the Lord and the glories of the Lord and taste nothing but Krishna prasadam. We read that in our purport today. Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Dharmajedi vayati, lobamoy sadurmati, tokechita katina sangsare. The most formidable enemy is the tongue, because from the tongue you eat too much, you eat the wrong things, it goes down into the belly and it agitates the genitals, and then it's a straight line, and the genitals become agitated and you're forced, pushed. So you need the knowledge of what's going on here. You're attached to your body, you're attached to the opposite sex or the same sex or whatever you're attached to, but it's going to go. The body's going to go. And then what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? And every time you get too attached to that, you suffer more. Isn't it? Your anxiety is more. The complications of your life become more. And the anxiety increases. So after enough of that, after going after it and getting disappointed and getting, your heart crushed or whatever, after enough of that, at some point the soul says, okay, enough. There must be something more to it than this, because this isn't working. Adaushada, tata sarut sangha, bhajana kriya. With little faith, you associate with devotees who are actually fixed. And that's difficult in the beginning if you are sexually agitated. If you're sexually agitated, you feel uncomfortable in a spiritual environment, and you feel comfortable in a materialistic environment. So, just like when you have some disease, you say jaundice, liver disease, and you can't taste anything nicely, especially sugar makes you want to vomit the taste of sugar when you have jaundice, strong jaundice. But according to Ayurvedic medicine, the medicine to cure that jaundice is sugar candy, this lozenge, the sweetest thing, which you can barely taste. You barely take it on your tongue. It tastes so bad. But it's the medicine. And you keep taking it and keep taking it, and eventually when the jaundice is cured, then you taste the sweetness of the sugar. So it isn't so easy. Everyone in the material world came here for the same thing, to have sex and to become the master, to control others, to enjoy, to own, to control things that don't belong to us. Even your body doesn't belong to you because you can't keep it. If something actually belongs to you, you can keep it. So, as long as you go chasing after the impermanent, the ephemeral, the things that cannot satisfy the soul, then you must have sex. And when you actually come to your senses and come to the understanding, spiritual understanding, that the heart will only be satisfied with Krishna, then you can give it up easily by a higher taste. Param drishtva nivartate. What's the first part of the Vyatato? What? First part of that verse. Param drishtva nivartate. By experiencing a higher taste. See, when we're in the material world, we may have a taste for that sensual gratification. But if we refrain, then gradually we get a higher taste. Without that higher taste, and that's what we were talking about here. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was talking about. You know, the development from Shantaras, where you're neutral, where you only only want to be with Krishna. You don't serve, you don't feel like serving, but it's the beginning, it's the base, taste. That shanta, sama, that neutrality with the material energy, the desire to be with Krishna and nothing else. In the feature of the Brahman, the Param Brahman, the Brahmajyoti, the effulgence of Krishna, or the Paramatma, feature of Krishna in the heart. And when that taste becomes more intimate, as it becomes more intimate, then we become servants of Krishna. We want to serve. And then when intimacy comes, then we can be friendly and we can become the maintainer of Krishna. And ultimately we can become the lover of Krishna, the beloved of Krishna. That's where the real taste is. That's where the real pleasure is. And the pleasure of sex is a perverted reflection. It is the lowest taste. It's the most degrading thing. You have to understand it. You have to be able to accept it, to be able to get the determination to resist it. And when you become fixed, then you lose that lower taste and you get a higher taste. Then you can go to Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Next is a comment from Krishna Premavati Devi Dasi.
Krishna Premavati Devi Dasi. Hare Krishna.
She's mentioning that verse 216 from Srimad Bhagavatam 6:17-28 was spoken by Lord Shiva to Parvati after she cursed Chitraketu.
Yes.
And there's a question from Gopal Roy.
Gopal Roy, Haribo.
He says, Dear Maharaj, is Sakya Ras and above found in Vaikuntha? And also is spontaneous devotional service found in Vaikuntha, Dwarka, or Mathura?
Well, repeat the sentence. Repeat the question again. You have to speak a little bit more clearly. I couldn't get it all.
Is Sakya Rasa and above found in Vaikuntha? And also is spontaneous devotional service found in Vaikuntha, Dwarka, or Mathura?
Yes, spontaneous devotional service is found in Vaikuntha. Everyone has prema in Vaikuntha, but it is of different varieties, depending on the relationship. But in Vaikuntha, generally, the relationships don't go any higher than dasya, service, and service with awe and reverence. It's more than neutrality, it's more than shanta, it's dasya. There's service, there's love, but it is mixed with attachment for the opulence and the awe and reverence of seeing Krishna in the fully opulent position. But the opulence of Goloka Vrindavan is greater than in Mathura or Dwarka or Vaikuntha. There's more opulence. The potencies, because there we're with Krishna, and Krishna is the source of everything. So when you reach Goloka Vrindavan, then you can have these higher rasas with Krishna. And because those rasas are so intense, it's not that the opulence is not there, but it's not the love, the spontaneous love covers it, so that the devotees don't even notice. Even when Krishna does something that's extraordinarily, infinitely impossible for anybody else to do, shows Mother Yashoda, the universe inside his mouth. She, for a moment, she's bewildered, but then her maternal love is so spontaneous and so deep and so enriched with this mood to maintain Krishna, she shakes it off immediately. And she just wants to take care of him and make sure he's okay. She thinks maybe there was something wrong with him, or maybe something danger, maybe some demon is coming to catch you, right? So there is service, and there's a tinge of friendship in Vaikuntha, but it's very formal. It's not intimate. They can't see Krishna as their equal or their superior in Vaikuntha. If you want to know about this, you can read the 4th chapter of the 2nd part of Brihad Bhagavatamrita, where Gopakumar goes to Vaikuntha and has exchange with Krishna as a cowherd boy. He's a cowherd boy from Govardhan. Tomorrow's Govardhan Puja. He belongs in Goloka Vrindavan, in Braj. Oh, but he's going from one place to another. He's on his way, and he comes to Vaikuntha. And he looks at, and he sees the Lord of Vaikuntha, and he sees Krishna. Because Krishna is so attracted to him that he can't hold his forearm form, And he sees Krishna, and he sees the cowherd boys. That's what he sees. And he runs up, to embrace Krishna. And the Vaikuntha Dutas, they stop him. And no, you can't act like this. You have to stand here and you have to you pray like this and you do like this. And then there's conversations among the Vaikuntha Dutas, the Vaikuntha, residents of Vaikuntha. And some of them are very, no, you can't do this. You know, this is the Lord of the universe and whatever. And others are saying, no, he's from Raj and he's okay. This is the same Lord, but we know our Lord is the most opulent, but still, he's a devotee. Like that. There are different moods, there are different, not everything is like, it's not a light switch that you just flick on and off. It's one of those dials that you turn up and down the light. We have a tendency to see things in terms of black and white and linear. But the point that was being made during our reading was that Shanta Rasa, that neutrality, where you're no longer attached to the material energy, but you just want to be just attached to the spiritual energy, Krishna. But you don't serve, you don't feel like serving. You just want to look and appreciate Paramatma, Brahman. That level of detachment, that level of love is there in all the relationships. It's not that when you go from neutrality to servitude, you give up the Shanta. It just transforms into more and more qualities. It doesn't exactly transform, but more and more qualities are added to it in the higher rasas. We just heard this. I don't need to repeat it. We just heard it in the most wonderful way through Prabhupada's purports. There's no conjugal ras in Vaikuntha, only Lakshmi. In Dwarka, there's thousands and thousands of queens of Krishna. In Mathura and well, not in Mathura. So it's like that. And then in Braj, there's millions and billions of gopis who are loving Krishna in the conjugal ras. And the parental ras also is there. Vaikuntha, no parental ras. In Dwarka, parental ras. Mathura, Vasudeva, Devaki, and then finally Yashoda, and Nanda Maharaj. Hare Krishna. There's a lot more to it than that, but we don't have time, unfortunately. We've almost come to the point of our Dhammadarastakam here. So I thank you all very much. I'm sorry I was a little late, and I wanted to go late tonight because I owe it to you. It's my service, my pleasure. And so tomorrow there's going to be a festival for Govardhan Puja in Folkestone, and I'm still not capable of traveling and doing anything, so devotees will go there. And so tomorrow night we won't have a reading because of the timings of the festival over in Folkestone, and but we'll start up again on Monday night, and I'll send out a message like I usually do, so that people will know that they're free to do their Govardhan Puja celebrations and whatever they do tomorrow. Hare Krishna, thank you so much for your wonderful questions, especially Gopal Roy's question was very deep, and I don't think I did it justice, but it's hard in such a short period of time to answer those levels of questions. So we'll see you on Monday, and have a very lovely Govardhan Puja celebration tomorrow. Gaur Premanand, Hari Hari Bol, Sri Caitanya-caritämrta ki jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. We'll see you on Monday, same time, same place, same subject matter, the transcendental ecstasy of the teachings to Sanatana Gosvämi by Sri Chaitanya Mahäprabhu. And this is a big section of the book. He spent 2 months with him. So we'll hear all about the beginning of that on Monday. Hare Krishna, Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki jai, Gaur Premanandi.